Thank you, Mr. President. Under privileges of the floor, I would like to take a couple of moments and just a short moments to kind of bring our attention to the solemnness of this particular day of 9/11. And it's really a difficult thing to come up with to say, do you celebrate 9/11? Do you, what's the proper term? Do you mourn 9/11? Do you commemorate 9/11? And I would like to stand today to remember 9/11. And growing up as a child, a particular day that my parents shared with me often is where they were in November of 1963 when President John F. Kennedy was shot and killed in Dallas, Texas. And I think for our generation today, that day is September 11th, 2001. And I remember that day very clearly. I worked about 5 minutes from my house and arrived at my office at about 7:30 in the morning and hadn't had the news on or anything else. And I was the first one in the office that day, and we had a big screen TV in one of the offices. And I got a phone call, and all it said was, "Turn on the TV." And so I went in the office, I turned on the TV, and right there on the television were the Twin Towers, one of them ablaze and on fire. And then as I was watching it, the second one was struck and hit as I was watching it live on television. And I think that's a day that, of course, none of us will ever forget. And sometimes we have a habit of, putting those kind of, once we live through the moment and get through it, we kind of put it aside and don't pay very much more attention to it. But a couple of years ago at the San Diego County Fair, they had a traveling 9/11 museum with some of the artifacts from the New York Museum. And then I was reminded of it this morning. And if you've not done this, I would really encourage you to take the time. You can see and hear most of them online nowadays. But listen to the phone calls. The final phone calls. Of husbands calling their wives. Of wives calling their husbands. Moms calling their kids. "Hey, baby, I'm on an airplane and we've been hijacked. I don't know where we're going and I don't know what's going to happen. I don't think we're going to make it. But I want you to know that I love you. I love you, baby. Tell the kids, tell my parents, I hope I get to see you again." I think the solemnness of the day becomes more true and more real as you listen to those phone calls from those airplanes just prior to them crashing into the buildings or crashing into the field in Pennsylvania. And I hope that we all will be able to say that we will never forget. Thank you, Mr. President.